This is a message to all lawyers and legal professionals, wherever you might be in the world. Whether you're a managing partner, senior associate, or even just a paralegal, you need to watch this video. Why? Because the world is changing and we are not. The world is becoming 10,000 times more advanced. With technology and AI rapidly advancing, lawyers run the risk of getting left behind. And that's something we don't want. We are HAQQ, and we are on a mission to digitize lawyers everywhere through one application, an AI-powered legal super app for all of your connectivity, productivity, and community needs. Why is this important? Because we are the only application on earth that makes sure technology is your best friend. We've designed it to be super simple, super easy to use, and super secure. Now, I'm pretty sure you want the details. Who doesn't? If you really want to know, watch this video to the end, and I have a very nice special surprise for all of you. However, for those who consider themselves lawyers of tomorrow and leaders of the legal revolution with technology, those who are already bought in, I would encourage you to click on the link below and start your application process. For the rest of you, join me on this ride.
$20 million. That's how much our lawyers earned in the first 9 months of using HAQQ. Why? Because it's super simple for anyone to find a lawyer. I'm going to show you exactly how HAQQ can generate you millions of dollars. Furthermore, this is the only bar regulation friendly way of marketing yourself as a legal professional, because HAQQ makes it completely free and neutral to have a profile as long as you're a verified lawyer. Right. So let's say I want to find a lawyer in the UAE that can handle a banking dispute. I would click on jurisdictions. I would search for the United Arab Emirates, and I would then click on specializations, and I would look for a banking lawyer. I could also specify the language as English and the location anywhere in the world. Position, I could pick any position in the world. So this guy, Maitre Marwan Sakhr, is Lebanese. He speaks Arabic, English, and French. You can see it here. This is his firm. He's the managing partner. These are the areas of practice he is most well versed in, and I can click on chat, and I can chat with him directly through the application. But what I can also do is I can click on the name of the law firm, and I can see all the lawyers inside the firm. I can also view his profile, see all of his about us, see the areas that he can practice in, as well as his experience and education. So this is a LinkedIn for lawyers, except it generates a lot more money because it's a lot more targeted. You can even post articles. Now, Maitre Marwan hasn't done that, but this is something you can definitely do, and this is another lead generation channel for you as a lawyer. If I click on contact, what happens is it takes me to the sign-up form where I create an account for free, and then I contact Maitre Marwan. And now I'm going to switch to the view of a lawyer managing their practice on MyHAQQ to be able to show you how that goes down as well. Let's see right now exactly how it is to be a lawyer on HAQQ. Let's click on login. These are my credentials. I click on login. It's super simple. And here we are greeted with the home view. All right. Now, this is MyHAQQ. I'm going to reset the zoom here. Perfect. So, as you can see, this is the name of your law firm. Not our law firm, your law firm. You can see how many lawyers are online from your own team. This is the notification bar. This is you, yourself as a user, your name, your title, and your location. This is your calendar. You can even switch to Hijri. And as you can see, all these dates have events on them, which we're going to cover in a bit. Right here on the right, this is where you switch languages. You can switch at any instant between any language we have available, including English, Arabic, and French. Now, let's talk for a bit. MyHAQQ is really a super app. That means you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different applications rolled into one. All right? We use all of these applications to make sure you have an integrated, connected experience with your work. We don't want you to worry about having to use a software to be a very good lawyer. We want the software to be seamless, which is why we really focused on good design, making it simple, user-friendly, and easy to use. Having said that, our number one priority wasn't design. Our number one priority was data protection, data security, data governance, which is why we are compliant with GDPR, PLDP, CCPA, and every single other jurisdiction where they have data protection laws, because we believe data is the number one priority in the legal profession, data secrecy, and we want to safeguard that. It is sacred to us. So I want you to be sure if you're using HAQQ, you're completely safe. We use 5 different layers of encryption. We host our data with Microsoft Azure on their cloud, and everything is encrypted end to end. For more information, I invite you to read our terms and policies. Okay, that has all the information you need. But for now, this is definitely something you need to know about. It is super important. And in fact, we are definitely regulation friendly when it comes to Bar Association compliance. Now, let's dive right into the application itself. So let's dive right in. Here, you can see the home screen. It offers at a glance all the information you need to run your firm. The current makeup of your cases, your matters, the number of clients you have, ongoing matters, as well as the number of tasks. As you can see, we took a precipitous decline in productivity at my own firm. That's actually a joke. Now, having said that, all right, I do want to say this. You can actually download HAQQ from right here. You can install it, and then that makes it into your own mobile or desktop application, meaning you do not have to open your browser every time you want to open the application. Let's go back to the chat function. As we said, clients can find you inside the application. That means they can find you inside the requests, right? So when someone sends you a message, it goes to the requests. I'm not very popular. Not many people have requested. But once they go into the request, you can then accept or decline their invitation to chat. And this is actually a replacement for WhatsApp, Microsoft Teams, and Slack. Because inside the request, this generates leads. Once you accept, they become clients, and you can choose to have a chat with them right here. Inside the firm, this is where you have a chat with all of your teammates. Think of it like a main channel on Teams or WhatsApp group on WhatsApp. Right? Now, there are also sub-channels inside of the matter itself, and these are distinct from the channels on the main side. Let's say I go inside this drafting agreement matter, lawyers or the clients participating in this matter, and this is distinct from the chat outside. And what this does is it keeps the communications intact, and it streamlines all stakeholder communications inside of HAQQ. That way, you don't need to give out your personal phone number. And what's more important is you do not need to keep track of 10,000 different WhatsApp groups. Different teams can keep track of everything all in one place. That means the data is now integrous. Having said that, let's now talk about the team itself. So let's talk about the team. Here, you can see all of your team members. You can see who's online, who's not, and you can even click on show more to see more people. You can see the profile picture, their location. This is very helpful if you have a multinational firm, how many matters they have, and the status of each one. If I click on deactivate, this actually really helps you with data, because you don't want people no longer in your firm to have access to your firm's data. By putting all of your data on HAQQ, you determine at any given time exactly who sees what data and how much they have access. And more importantly, you have a fallback strategy in case of termination. So let's say you fire someone or they leave. That means the data stays with you and not with them. Now, having said that, you can also check their productivity. You click on someone, and here you can see all of the matters that they have ongoing. And you can filter this. You can even download it and see it as a CSV. You can also see the tasks that they have, and you can see and assess properly what's on their plate. Furthermore, you can also see how much they've billed clients and how much they've received in turn. And to add a new team member, it's super simple. You just type in their email, you determine their permission settings, which can be customized, and their hourly rate. Now, speaking of hourly rate, we should definitely mention the timesheet section, because what use is having a practice management software without being able to track your timesheets? Here you can see every single entry by lawyer, matter, client, task, etc. of every single journal entry related to a timesheet. Furthermore, you can filter And you can also download as a CSV. To add a new timesheet, you just click Add Timesheet, you put the time intervals, you describe it, and you pick the matter. Then you choose whether or not to bill it. Here, you click on the report, which you can filter by quarter, year, month. You can see every single person, how much their base hourly rate is, how many hours they've worked, and how much they've billed in total. So if I click here on Antoine, I can see all of the matters that they have been working on. If I click again, I can see the exact task that he billed on. So the three levels are team member, matter, and then task. And this gives you everything you need to know when it comes to managing your team. Having said that, this is the right time to dive right into the tasks section. All right, so tasks are the lifeblood of a well-operating firm. Why? Because if you properly use this function, you will never need to ask anyone about any deadline again. You will cut out meetings and you will save so much time and money, it's unreal. If you really want to make use of the MyHAQQ application, you have to focus on this section. All right? Because anytime you want to create a task, it's super simple. You just add new task. And then what happens is you name the task, you decide which matter will I be adding this to, you assign it to a lawyer, and then you obviously pick the status and the due date, and then you can add a region if this is something that requires physical presence, and then you can describe it. Okay? So why is this important? Because every time you assign a task to someone, they actually get notified in two places. They get notified here inside the notifications bar, and they get notified by email right here. So this automates the communications between you and your team members, making it super simple to manage a large law firm. You can even filter the tasks by date and matter and download it as a CSV. And in case there's something you don't want to see, you just click here on the view section, and then you can add or remove certain columns. As you can see, it's been a success. You can filter by status, by region, or whatever else. So look at this. Hello world, explain the legal revolution to lawyers worldwide. This is a task. It's been marked as completed and it was due quite some time ago. You can see that it has one file attached and someone billed 6 hours on it. So let's click and see. If I click on the files section, I can see exactly the file that was uploaded here. Why is this important? Because if you're drafting a contract, it's important to keep track of all the changes. And this actually supports version control. So you can upload the same document multiple times. Every single version will be saved. And then you can have a live record of all the different changes happening to a document. If you're working collaboratively as a team, which is how you should be working, to complete a certain task, this is the best way to do it. Furthermore, let's assume something was unclear. Any person can add a comment. When you add a comment, let's say, please explain. What happens is the name of the person who added the comment is shown. This keeps everything intact. Furthermore, you could also add a reminder. That way you are reminded of the due date. And you can add a timesheet. Whenever you add a timesheet, it automatically counts your hours and it automatically expenses them and bills them. This is super important. This also lets you track the productivity per worker, per task, per matter, per client. The analytics are absolutely insane. Now, there's something that I mentioned that I do want to touch back on, which is the files section. Where do the files go? I'm about to show you. Right, so when it comes to the files, every single matter has its own folder. Furthermore, every single matter has its own attribution. So there's an automated content management system. If you upload a file to a task, it goes inside the task. If you upload a file to the hearings, it goes inside the hearings. Now, maybe you don't know what deliverables, hearings, and milestones are, but we will touch base on that. You could also add your own folders. This saves things. And anytime you upload a file, you can determine whether or not it's visible to the client, and you can even rename it. Something else that's super interesting and super time-saving is any file you want, you click here, you can preview it without having to download. So that's our files section. This actually replaces the need for Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, and so many other applications. It's super safe, it's super secure, and it follows data regulation. What's best is it automatically sorts the content according to what it is, and it's integrated with the rest of your work. Having said that, this is the best time to talk about your own CRM. This is the Salesforce killer, the HAQQ Clients module. This module is everything. First off, you can see all of your existing clients. You can even filter them or search. I'm going to search for someone called Sinan. I click here. I can see he has 3 ongoing cases, right? I can see all his information, his phone number, his email, his time zone, how much I've invoiced him, and how much I've received from him. From this one section, I can see all of his existing matters, their status, interact with it, and even click on it to go inside, which I'm not going to do right now. You could also add a matter. Hearing, expense, invoice, payments, you can add all of these for this one client right from here. How many types of clients do we have? We have 2. Whenever you want to add a client, it's super simple. You click Add New Client, you pick, is this an individual or an organization? And then you input all of the information that is required. Obviously, not all of this is required. You actually only need the first name. However, you could also invite them. And by inviting them, they get access to their own client portal, which is something spectacular. And I'm going to show you how to do it right now. Let's say it's an individual. I'm going to call him HAQQ Demo Client. Okay? Email is going to be client@lebanonlawreview.org. I'm going to click on invite. See what happens. I'm going to open up the email right here. Right. So let's go back to the most important section of this entire application, the matters section. Here you can see the table of matters. You can see everything that there is to see, every single matter there is by internal case ID, which is your internal reference number for this matter inside your firm, the matter name, the status, you can change it from here. You have multiple options and you can actually edit it. The name of the client, the name of the lead lawyer, as well as its court ID, jurisdictions, category, type, whether litigation or not, because this application is not just for litigators, it's also for corporates. So the region as well, right? And you can add the matter in multiple ways. Download them, you can filter them by type, lawyer, date, specialization, category, jurisdiction. So let's see it in action. Let's say I want to see only my matters, okay? Although you can actually do that from a different view. But let's say I want to do that, then it automatically does it for me. Okay? Let's say I only want to see matters in the family law section. Save. It does that for me. This is the one matter I have that's in the family law section. Let's go back to the clients. You can actually add a matter from inside of the client. If you click here on the name of the client, you can actually go inside and add matter. Once you do that, the name of the client gets automatically added, which saves you a lot of time. Let's say the matter is incorporation. Internal case ID, HOR@21, type non-litigation, although I'm gonna change it into a litigation just for now. Type non-litigation, region, DIFC, case manager, I'm going to be adding myself. You could add anyone really. Case personnel, I'm gonna add Amir, and I'm going to add Sharbil. That means you can add multiple people on the same team. Specializations, I'm going to call this corporate law. Categories, incorporation. Jurisdiction, this is in the United Arab Emirates. So I click that, and then status, it's in progress. I save it, and you can see here it is. If I click on the name, I can enter the matter itself. And this is the most important view of them all, because the matter is actually a container for the rest of the activity you would normally do inside of the practice management software. It has its own tasks. It has its own team, its own chat, its own meetings, which sync up with the calendar, its own calendar, actually. As you can see, the calendar here is quite different because this is the calendar for this matter, solely for this matter. The files of this matter, as well as their financials. I'm going to explain the milestones real quick. The milestones are what you use to keep the client up to date with the status of the matter. So let's say the first milestone would be an assessment. All right? Then I would say not started. I would add a due date, and I could even charge for this. So I'm going to charge him $100 in legal fees. As you can see, multi-currency, $100 in legal fees, and I can add the description. I save it, and it automatically adds to the calendar. Furthermore, now the client and every lawyer on this matter got automatically notified via email that a milestone was created. This lays out the groundworks for the relationship. It's exactly like signing a letter of engagement, because they also get invoiced for this quite easily. You click here, you can update the status at the click of a button, and you can even upload files. This could be a contract, a deliverable, or even the minutes of meeting. This is super important. And inside of the matter, you have the aggregate of everything else. So all of the tasks aggregate outside to the tasks section here. And then all of the chat, all of the files, etc. This is how it works. The matter is the base atomic unit of everything else. Let me show you more. Inside of the matter itself, you have a lot of flexibility because this is the atomic unit. Everything from here gets reflected outside. I'm going to show you how beautiful this is. I'm going to add a new task. I'm going to assign it to Amir Ajib. I'm going to put the due date as the 30th at 12 p.m. Task is draft NDA, status in progress. Let's see what happens. You can see here, automatically on the 30th, I get a task. I click on it and it takes me right here to the event itself. You could also schedule a meeting and this syncs with your calendars. You could determine whether or not this is a in-person or virtual meeting. You can determine the participants and you can even set fees for the meeting. Furthermore, everything gets reflected outside. If I go to team members and I look for Amir, here he is. You can see the tasks. You can see that he has a task called draft NDA. I click on it. It takes me to the matter. This is the reflective structure of our application. This makes it super easy to use. You write something once and it gets reused 10 times. So it is 10 times an effect on efficiency per user. If you have 10 users, multiply that by 10. So it compounds. This is amazing for efficiency. Furthermore, let's say I'm done with the matter. Let's say I'm done with it and I don't want to work with it anymore. I just scroll to the right and I click on archive. And then what happens is it goes directly into the archives, all right? And this is where you see all of the archives that you have for every single matter. But let's go back to the Horizon case with Sinan, okay? The incorporation matter. Let's say for whatever reason, this turned litigious. We're going to court. Although I notated it down as a non-litigation matter, all I have to do is click here, switch it to litigation, and then suddenly I have a list of every single court in the world, right? And so I'm going to go for the appeal courts, court ID, judge name, George. Let's call the judge George, representing the plaintiff, and the opponent is Pepsi, right? And then I'm going to save it. This unlocks a very useful feature called the hearings section, because the hearings section is one of the most valuable features inside of the entire application. You can see this was unlocked just now. A hearing is everything you need to keep track of your judicial court hearing. So you name the hearing, let's say 1, all right, or exclamation mark, region, DIFC, assigned to, you want to choose which one of your lawyers do you want to send to this hearing. I'm going to give it to Sharbil because he's the litigation expert. Status not started, due date. Again, there's a due date for everything. You can keep track of all your due dates. And if you even want your clients to participate. For now, we don't. So we click on save. And suddenly, not only is it on your calendar once more, it's right here with a status that you can edit. If for whatever reason it gets rescheduled, notice how the date will change automatically. And you can even add a reason. Sick, judge, save, it moved. And then I click on info and I have my very own card for this hearing. I can add a summary. I can add notes. I can upload files. And this makes it so useful because now you don't have to go back to the office every time you miss out on a file for the hearing. You can add everything right here and it links together. And what's more beautiful is the statuses are meant for the hearings themselves. So first hearing, adjourned, pleadings, etc. This is perfect for litigation lawyers. Why? Let's go back to Sinan, multiple views again. I click here on Sinan and I can see all of his hearings right here. And here it is. Or I can go to Matter and I can see all of the hearings right here for everyone inside the firm. And I could also filter. Here, you can see the actual invoice that was generated. It has your own logo. Again, this is not our logo. This just happens to be the logo of the firm. You can add any logo you want. It has all of your information, all of their information, the invoice number automatically generated, the date issued, a description, as well as a full rundown of the invoice. This saves you a lot of time and gives you a lot of professionalism. And there at the end, you can see the billing policy as well as the chosen forms of payment. So this is all your income statement for your firm. You can switch by currency because you have different accounts for different currencies, completely different accounts, different wallets. You can switch by year, you can switch by quarter or by month. And this actually is very dynamic. You can also see the different clients and the different matters they have, as well as everything else inside: the revenue, the expenses, and the net. As you can see, I don't know how to run a business. I'm losing quite a lot of money. And that's not because we're losing money. It's because we're not notating it properly. You can also see the expenses for the entire firm, irrespective of any client. And this is all super, super important. You don't need a financial analyst anymore. Now, you might have seen the logo on the invoice and have wondered, how do I actually edit that? You click here on the settings, go to firm settings, you can add your logo and all the other information regarding your firm. You can choose a default currency. So if you're not in the US and you want a default currency, you can just pick any default currency you want. Okay? And you can add alternative phone numbers, and you can actually upgrade from here. Furthermore, you could also go to user settings, and this is where the information gets reflected to the public profile with the specializations and the jurisdictions and everything else. And it's also the place where you can reset your password and change your password. Having said that, now is the right time to talk about the community aspect of things. HAQQ believes in bringing lawyers together through conferences, webinars, and community events to discuss the future of law and technology. We host the largest legal tech conferences in the world, with thousands of attendees globally, and we always prioritize speaking and attendance access to HAQQ subscribers. We believe in community, and by joining HAQQ, you'll become one of the lawyers of tomorrow.
Now, don't drop off just yet. You've come this far. Let's start haggling like two fishwives in an old bazaar. You're here, and I'm here, and we still need to talk about the price. How much does HAQQ cost? The answer? A lot. It costs a lot. It's the most expensive software out there. It's the most premium. It's gonna cost you an arm and a leg, a kidney stone, and 3 villas in New York. I'm kidding. It's completely free. Absolutely free, free forever, not a trial, free forever, because we believe money should be no obstacle. However, the elite among you might want a more premium experience. That's why we offer different bundles. So, for those of you who want to start now, go ahead, it's free. But for those of you who are considering more serious endeavors, more premium features, we definitely want to give you a very good sweetener. We offer you a money-back guarantee. If you use our application for 90 days on end in the right way and you still don't like it, we will give you back every dollar, every dime, and every cent. What are you waiting for? A better offer? I'm not haggling. Click now and let's start this journey together. Let's join the legal revolution.